Yes, you are.
Okay.
Good evening, esteemed guests. We are glad to host the webinar on talent acquisition and organization development for MSMEs. And our speaker is Mr. Sudhakar, who is also co-founder of SME Analytics and is taking care of HR and marketing department. He has more than 40 years of successful experience providing strategic and operational leadership in uniquely challenging situations across IT and telecom sectors. An innovative leader with entrepreneurial initiative and vision who drives revenues and manages rapid growth profitability with a focus on building a strong corporate culture. Demonstrated excellence in ensuring prompt resolution of employee grievances to maintain cordial management employee relations and achieves dedication by workers and handling HR function. Expertise in handling large Indian corporate houses, PSUs, consulting companies, software companies, defense establishments, educational institutions, and government enterprises. Post-retirement engagements also, he is guest faculty with Annamalai University. He has, he's an advisor for Tata AI Life Insurance, Relegate Health Insurance, and he has very good, immense experience, MSME experience. So he has given his expertise to Terminus Global Tech Solutions, Son Technologies, Unical Systems Private Limited, HRDC. Involved in business development and skill development at different level of organizations, training and development in management skills for MSMEs and corporates, HR consulting on recruitment and staffing. So with this prelude, with this, we will be starting off with Mr. Sudhakar. He will be presenting this particular session. So Sudhakar sir, taking over to you.
Yeah.
You can, can continue, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Can I start this side, sir? Hello, you are able to hear me? Hello?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, okay.
So you just come close to the laptop so that the mic, it is not audible
Yeah,
properly.
yeah. Is it okay now?
Yeah, we
Is
can
it
hear you,
okay
sir.
now?
It is.
Still little closer.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, thank you, Pinaki, for your introduction, and welcome to all of you, friends and gurus of the industry. It is nice to see you all. I mean, meet you all here in virtual meet in spite of the COVID and your busy schedules. So I'll just start off with talent acquisition and organization development. I'll take 20 minutes on talent acquisition and 20 minutes on organization development. And the rest, the remaining 20 minutes is for the question answer session. And that's what is the plan. So let us start off. Talent acquisition is becoming a real problem in MSMEs. I'm pertaining to MSMEs, though I have worked in corporates and MSMEs. I thought we'll have a discussion on this. Talent acquisition is the process of identifying, sourcing, selecting, and onboarding new employees into the company. It is often seen by business leaders as it's a challenge. It's a challenge for MSMEs nowadays because there are so many MSMEs and there is competition among MSMEs. So this is a challenge to have talent acquisition and recruitment. There are two different aspects because recruitment is a short-term goal, whereas talent acquisition is a long-term and goes to about 3 to 5 years and that type of thing. Okay, so this is what it is. So it's a real challenge. It is more challenging and difficult process than simple recruitment process. That's what I've explained. And it is a matter of attracting the talents by selling your company's branding, image, and dynamic business activities, because it is something like a marketing activity, because I have seen both HR and marketing. It's more or less the same because here in the HR it is selling the company or the brand, building the brand. So this is what it is. So let's go to the next slide. and see some of the studies which have been done in MSMEs are, the bad hiring. What will happen is definitely bad hiring will create a lot of problems because there will be iteration and the talent will go. So the talent what you bring in into the organization will go waste if you have a bad. So the JD has to be properly framed and job specification and all these things have to be taken into account, and then only you have to hire people. So that is one of the point. And then 51% candidates are less qualified in skills and knowledge. So this is another very important factor, because the qualifications and also the knowledge plus the skills are very important to upbring the organization and also the talent, bringing in the talent. The third thing is 26.2% talented candidates expect inappropriate high rise in salary and wages, because this is what I have been experiencing in various organizations where the expectation of the candidates will be very high, whereas the returns will not be that great. So we have to monitor them on a constant basis and see that results come from the candidate who you take into the organizations. And lastly, 12.9% of MSMEs have to offer other benefits, allowances, etc., to acquire right talent. So this is another very important point, because allowances like, to and fro charge, fare, or even the conveyance and other things, these are small things, and some welfare facilities have to be provided and that type of thing. It's a small organizations will face these problems. Okay, so these are some of the things, and the process goes like this, that the organization needs have to be identified, and then you also have to find the right candidates, qualify the candidates, hire employees, and onboard them. So this is the process where there are four parameters. One is sourcing them, then recruitment will come into picture, then the hiring, what to do, how to hire, and then put them on the board. So these are some of the basic points which we will cover in the next slide. So as far as sourcing is concerned, it is very important to source, and it is always better to have 2-3 sources. You have Naukri, you have Monster, you have Indeed, you have, which you will see in the next slides. But I thought I'll explain here, because the requisition management is very important, because what is required for the organization has to be properly identified, and then you may get a lot of applications from various places and various sources, but which are actually the resumes. And these days we are facing a lot of fake resumes. So we have to be very careful in screening which and applications. Among the applications, you have to take the resumes which are actually pertaining to your particular need, and then go ahead. There are a lot of sources, as I told. Networking is important, and then internet sourcing, where there are vendors also for sourcing these type of requirement. There is placement cells we can go into, and there are so many associations which you will be seeing next. And so that way you have to be very careful in sourcing. And the next slide we will see. Especially for MSMEs, because like corporates and all, okay, they know it's known to everybody, and it's not a problem for them to know the organization. But as far as MSMEs is concerned, we have to, the HR plays a key role in branding the organization and taking it forward. So pre-screening, as I told you, that you have to do the screening and pre-screening. There are a lot of steps involved in it. Assessing and testing, there are a lot of tests. You have psychometric tests. In fact, there are tests where you will find the candidates who will fit in a particular function. That type of tests also are available, and it's also a little bit of astrology on the is also involved in putting them in the functions. There are a lot of tests and lot of methods are there. So then comes the interviewing coordination, because that's again a big task, because you have to coordinate with the candidate, and then with the person who interviews, technical interview. Then you have the HR round. There will be 2-3 rounds or 4 rounds depending on the type of the position and the seniority or technical position. Then definitely R&D people, technical people will get involved in it. So these are the some of the requirements on the recruitment side. Now coming to the hiring, the final management interview, because as I told you, the first there will be 2-3 rounds. You will have the first will be the screening, then the technical round, then the management has to see what the budget is for that particular position, and accordingly he has to or she has to sort out, and then you have to offer the letter. There are a lot of problems in this again, because you have to take the approval from finance and also the technical team, and then at times they come, they say they will join the candidates, but they may skip or they may ask for extension of joining date. So these are some of the hurdles we face in the approval, after approval, and after giving the offer letter. So it is the responsibility of the HR person to see that the person commits, and for this the HR plays a major role in motivating them to join and also to stay in the organization for a long time. So reference checks again is very important, because again there will be some candidates who may say that these are the experience or these are the organizations he has worked, but ultimately if you see with the reference checks or the background verification check, it will be totally different. So we have to be very careful in identifying these reference checks. Now putting them on the board, background screening, as I told you, is very important. And then there are organizations who does the background checks and background screening and all, and then you have to take all their Aadhaar card or their PAN card or whatever, and see that he joins, he comes onto the board and with the joining report and other things. So there's a lot of paperwork. You have to see whether the originals are correct or not, the copies we have selected and the originals are matching. And then third party vendor management is something like, there are a lot of HR consultants who provide manpower to organizations of SMEs, and maybe if you have to have your own portal, you can have depending on the size of the organization. So this is what really very difficult, is challenging for the HR to put them on the board. Because now we'll just do on the what needs to be done to see that these loop holes plugin can be plugged in. We have to revisit and mission and vision. This keeps changing. It is a dynamic situation as the technology is changing. People are changing, and you have to identify the real talent and what talent is required and what is there with the candidate has to be properly assessed, and these have to be taken into account and socialized in the industrial and business circles, associations, various platforms to reach out to employees in the other organizations. Sometimes what happens is you may have to pause, or you may have to also, this is nothing wrong. In fact, I have been in the IT industry for a long time, and then the communication industry. We used to take people from the competitors organizations, and so that you get the prospect base and also the contacts, and business will definitely improve in a faster rate. So this is very important point to be taken into account, and create the brand image of the organization. This is another very important aspect. Maybe you may have to advertise in some of the magazines, depending on the type of the organization, and then the type of manufacturing facilities and products you have. with you. So this is very important. Don't lose your entrepreneurial spirit in taking a reasonable risk in acquiring talent. This is another important point, because you may have to invest if you have to do your business at a faster rate, and you want to grow in an exponential way. You definitely have to take risks on the employees and give him or her some time to settle down and prove himself. So this is another important point which to be taken into account, and give proper reception to the candidates with the human touch, so as to uh, making them emotionally comfortable. This is one of the essential points, because anybody, for that matter, you welcome them, you treat them properly with a glass of water or cup of tea and that everything, and receive him properly. Definitely, it will count a lot, and this has to be taken into account. So these are the some of the needs. Uh, so that's what it is, and then uh, find the right sources for talent search, because as I told you, talent acquisition is a long-term proposition, and the right candidate will come, and especially if it is a technical requirement, what will happen is it takes not less than 3 to 6 months to get a proper candidate, either it is on the designing side or on the estimation side, or to pure technical on the side, and that of a thing. So you have to be very careful and use the right talent search and the right sources. So sources like, as I told you, Naukri, Monster, now the latest is LinkedIn, Indeed, and there are a lot of latest sources where you can do the sourcing. So create the condition and facilities which ever possible to retain present talents in the company, which motivates talents outside the company to join. So this is very important, and because if you really take care of your existing employees in a substantial way and in a comfortable position, and if he is comfortable, he will do the selling for the organization. So wherever he goes to the client's place, he will say that this is a good company, and all it will reflect on the industry and the market. So this is another point to be taken into account. Finding talents and retaining them is a continuous, endless process, and not only HR, but all cross-functional heads and management staff have the responsibility of retention of talents in the company. So as I've been telling, that this is not the person of only the HR person, because you have the technical person. Functionally, he will report into technical person, or any finance or quality assurance or testing or whatever. And but HR and functional heads are also equally important to retain the people. So this is very important. In the last slide, I will explain on certain assets, certain points to be taken into account to retain people. So people are the ultimate assets. As you know, people matters. Without people, the organization doesn't exist. So people have to be taken into account, and they are the assets of the organization, which build up the organization through machines, though machines and technology, through machines and technology, thus take care of them as their potential has no limit, unlike machine. So this is because the machine, as you know, the computers cannot do anything on itself. Of course, robots are coming in now, but you have to write the program. So manually, you cannot replace men or women. So that way, unlike machines, this is important thing. Now now that 20 minutes are over, we will go into the organizational development. Okay, so organization development is again a very important thing for the organization, as it is studied and implementation of practices, systems, and techniques that affect organizational change. So this change is a constant process. As you know, the change is the only constant. So you have to keep changing with new strategies to build the organization, and the goal of which is to modify an organization performance and or also culture. So the culture also, you see different cultures. You have different culture in government organization. You have different cultures in private organizations. You have small and medium type of organizations. The system will be different. If a proprietary organization, it will be different. So you have to see, depending on the type of the organization, you have to change your strategies to build the organization. The organization changes are typically initiated by the group stakeholders. That is another very vital point, as the stakeholders have to get involved in policy decisions, and also the upcoming of the to upbring the organization. There are basically 5 stages of organization development, as you have the life cycle of a product in the marketing, where you have introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So the decline place, you have to see that the product development is taken place in a similar manner. Even in the organizational development, you have first is the formation stage. This is the stage in which the concept for an organization is developed and the entity itself is launched. These efforts are led by an individual or multiple individuals who have a vision for the organization. Founders leave a significant imprint on the organization during the formation phase. So during the formation phase, the founders have to take more interest and should involve themselves in small things and minor things, so that the formation will take off. It should not die. So now coming to the second point is the early period. It is known as storming period. Storming, I mean like brainstorming. So you have to see that you discuss among yourselves and see that the childhood, this is called the childhood phase. In this stage typically lasts for about 3 to 5 years. So this is another stage where you have to involve the employees very carefully, build them properly, motivate them, and bring them up. Then the third point is the normalization period. Organizational policies and procedures become the norm within the entity. The individuals have a tendency to act cohesively and as a unit during this phase of development. So normalization period is something like a growth period. Okay, so you have to see that all work together and then we move forward. Then the peak period, which is called the maturity period, where it is also called the maturity phase. To be most productive, it needs to firmly establish policies and procedures. As you know, the rules, regulations, policies, and maybe you have to also make a HR manual, or you have to have technical manual, and documentation should be proper. If it is going to be a manufacturing organization, it's a trading organization, then your policies should be clear in that everything. The fifth point is re-evaluation. As I told you in the marketing, in the dying stage, you have to see that the product is developed. There are some development of new features or something like. Similar way, you have to diversify. If you have to grow after a certain stage, the life of any organization, which a lot of study has been done, is about 30-35 years. After that, it may die. So you have to see that revaluation. This includes the examination of policies, procedures, and personnel. Basing on examination, different changes are expected to occur to the structure of the organization itself. So these are some of the points which you have to take into account. So these are the 5 stages of organization development. Now, another this thing is that you have so many constraints or so many channels, verticals, or whatever. You have government policies, you have the economy, which will be fluctuating very heavily depending on how you have the COVID, which has 3 to 4 months or 1 year, 2 years have gone for a loss, or it's not productive or is not useful to us. So like that, customers is another thing, stakeholders. Then you have the competition, due to which you have to change your policies and procedures, or your even product mix and that everything. So in order to build the organization, so this is another vital point. So technology advances. Now there are a lot of advancements in the technologies. You're talking about IoT, you're talking about both blockchain, blogs, and all. You have to be in pace with the technology. And suppliers is another important thing. Unless you have proper suppliers and economy, and in the sense that you have to see all your products are priced properly. If not, again you will have problems. So to build the organization and achieve your targets. So the this figure gives various drivers which affect business growth, and periodically you have to look at the changes taking place and changes which are required to achieve efficiency. Fresh solutions have to found for emerging problems. So problems, emergency, I mean, any, immediate problems, or suddenly, some problems will come up. You may have to be able to sort out that and move forward. Now, we'll talk about organization development can take many forms, and typical activities can include, as I told you, team building is one of the important thing. Individual departments may be doing very well, but collectively you have to see that the organization has a team building, capability, and also should take care of the employees and the team building. If not, it will be working with five different fingers have to come together, then only you can give a blow. So these type of things are important for departmental heads and the stakeholders, the owners, and that everything. So organizational assessments, this is another important thing. You have to keep on assessing the goals and targets of the organization, vision and mission, and your value systems have to be taken into account, and so that there is no hindrances in developing the organization. Career development of individual employees also have to be taken into account in order to see that the team building is done. And this point of time, I would also like to inform that the existing employees have to be taken care of, so that new employees who join, definitely there will be a lot of resistance, and so the new employees have to see that they mingle with the old employees, and the management has to take the responsibility to see that these two type of group of uh, uh, people will have a joint working together. So training and coaching is another thing which is an ongoing process. Employees have to be taken care of in terms of training and coaching. There are two different aspects. Coaching is a superset of training. So these things have to be taken. And innovation, you always have to see that you do something innovative in terms of product mix, or in terms of policies, or in the quality side, or technology side. You have to upgrade yourself. If not, you will be out of the race. So leadership development is, you always have to have second line of build, so that the organization sustains. So these are some of the main points. We have 10 minutes to go. The seven major steps in the OD. Initial diagnosis of the problem. See how an organization can be developed, or can be taken into a growth path in a direction in which the management wants. Is management or consultant should find out the real problem in the organization. So this is the initial diagnosis of the problem. So we have to see that what is the real problem in the organization, especially on the MSMEs. and then you have to collect a lot of data as to what is that is going on right now. It's a lot of like a system study in a software side. You have to do the system study to find out what is the real problem. So that is the data collection. The consultant will make the surveys to determine the climate of the organization and the behavior problems of the employees. So this is very vital problem, because the behavior of the employee will vary depending on his background, his traits, his qualifications, his experience, previous experience, and all these things. So the data of individual employees have to be collected, and then it has to be fed back to the management in the board meeting. All have to discuss on the data which is collected and will be given to the work groups. Okay, because the data which has come, which has been collected, the departmental heads have to sit together, and real assessment has to be done. There will be a lot of confrontation between departmental heads who will be assigned, and these things have to be sorted out. If not, there'll be a chaos in the organization. So any areas of disagreement will be mediated. So these type of things have to be taken into account by the consultant, internal consultant or external consultant, depending on the size of the organization. So planning strategy for change. The consultant will suggest the strategy for change. So this is again not being done by an individual. It really takes a lot of time and efforts to see that it's always better to have a third a person's opinion, to see that you have to consult senior people who have experience in that particular area or problem, and then you have to consult the senior people and take a decision and moving forward. So these are the four things. Then the fifth one, sixth, seventh, we will discuss, and then we will go to the we have the conclusion, and then we'll have the question answer session. The fifth point is intervening in the system. So there may be various methods through which internal consultant can intervene in the system, such as education, training, team development, etc. So these things are required, because internal consultant at times need support from external consultant. So these type of things have to be taken into account. And team building, as we have already been stressing more on the team building all through, which is very essential for building the organization. How they work together is very important. Consultant will educate employees about the value of free communication, group functioning, and team building. So these are the things which not just the departmental heads, but it goes down. It's you have to give a strategy of top to bottom, bottom to top. So both have to be taken into account to see that there is no communication gap and there is no ill feelings. All have to be worked together, and a team has to be built properly. So this is very important for upbringing the organization, whether it is 50 people or 100 people, or for that matter, corporates also. So evaluation. OD is a long process. Comparison of pre and post training behavioral patterns are done. So what will happen is that, in fact, training is an ongoing process. So when you have the training courses conducted at maybe at a senior level or junior level, and even internal training or external training, you have to again see the behavioral pattern of the employees, pre-training and post-training. So this is a real challenge for the HR and the departmental heads. So this is has to be taken into account. The steps in OD are part of the whole process. So all of them need to be applied if a firm expects to get the full benefits of OD. So organization development, these are some of the main things which we have to take into account so that there are no backtracking. There is not that we go back. We have to move forward. So this is what are taken into account. Okay. So now the thing is that employees training. Okay, that is again an ongoing process. It is very essential, especially in digital business environment. As technology is changing rapidly, lifelong learning becomes reality. So this is an ongoing process. Not that in fact in corporates also there are a lot of senior management and there are training to be done, and even directors will have to undergo training. Even the IAS officers, they have to, who they come out with the ICA civil services and all, they will also have the latest people. They have lot of training on technology, because the technology is changing so fast. So this is one thing which you have to take into account. And then the product research and development, the development of new services, products, and ideas can change the nature of the business. That's very fact, because the new services, products, and all, and then you're talking about robotics and that type of thing, where it will be replacing the CNC machines. Okay, so earlier it was, in fact, when I used to sell computers, they used to say computers will replace manpower, so we don't want. But now every person has a laptop, so like that, you will also get robo preparing UPA and that type of thing. So it's a product research and development. It's an ongoing process. Again, a cultural change campaign. Okay, it affects organizational productivity, agility, performance. It's a long term and continual effort. Okay. So, for example, Amazon's recent initiative of upskill in employees, they spent something like about $7,000 on retaining employees, and similarly HCL about 50 Mercedes Benzes they have given to the employees. So these are some of the things which you maybe not at that level, but something at the lower level can be done by the MSMEs. So Google culture of learning emphasizes learning is important to long-term business growth. So these are some of the projects which are ongoing and long-term programs. So that's that's all about this thing organization. Just spend another 1 or 2 slides, and then we'll open for the question answer session. So digital transformation efforts. This is again, as I was telling you, that digital transformation is order of the day. Everything is digital. Even you have earlier when you used to go to banks and all, you have to take a token and wait for the thing. You have ATM counters now. You have RTGS and all online transactions going on. Even pen drive and that everything. So digital transformation is the latest. So that is one thing. Environmental friendly initiatives, etc. Is another thing which normally we are talking about pollution free. We are talking about e-vehicles, e-scooters have already come. We are talking about e-cars and that everything, driverless cars and that everything. So it's all should be environmental friendly, pollution free, and that everything. Okay, now comes to R&R, which is very important. Rewards and recognition. These have to be again an ongoing process to see that employees retain in the organization, so that it's something like the person, the culture of the organization. You move from one organization to another organization. It takes some time to stabilize and the known not only for the employee but also for the organization. So these have to be awarded the employees to retain people. We have the last slide, which tells you the okay. This is one more slide. 10 skills that any OD specialist may have is communication skills. You have active listening skills, which is very important, and planning skills, learning skills, relationship building skills, empathy and social skills, analytical skills, technical skills, soft skills, and branding skills. So these are the things which I'll just go fast because I have to give time for the question answer session. So here are some of the creative ways of employee retention. Rewarding efforts, okay, and not results alone. Sometimes, the results will come slowly. I mean, you can't expect results overnight, whether it is production, whether it is finance, or whether it is marketing or HR or whatever, any function. So rewards efforts, you have to see the efforts and give him some time, maybe at least 6 months to 1 year it will take for anybody to stabilize in the organization. So employee well-being, this is, you're talking about, serving a coffee, or you have a vendor machine, coffee vending machine in the office. So these type of small things matters a lot. And then employee stock option. This is the latest, many big or small organizations are bringing in. So it is ESOPs, so ownership or option, whatever you call it. So this is very essential. Appreciating your employees, you have to appreciate, yeah, good job done and that type of thing. So it motivates the employee. Rewards for long-standing employees, this is one thing which being introduced a long time back by corporates, and should get inducted in the SMEs also, MSMEs also. And then some contests for whether it is any function, you can have a contest so that they get elevated and they get motivated. So then the conclusion of organization development is, it's important to project 3 to 6 months ahead of when you need to fill leadership and specialist positions. So that is important. Many technical positions take 6 months to months or longer to fill. If your company is awarded a new client and you need to deliver the work as soon as possible, it can be tough to recruit for those positions in short turnaround. So that is what you have to have a long-term perspective, and see that the organization requirement are met properly. Many markets are changing, and new skills are needed in manufacturing. A push towards green technology leads to a greater need of reskilling and hiring non-traditional backgrounds, such as environmental science and cyber security. Cyber security, cyber crime, these type of things are like you have mechatronics. These are the some of the B. There are new branches coming out, like mechatronics, which is mechanical and electronics for getting robo knowledge. So these are some of the new branches and fields are coming up. The competition for this talent will be fierce in the future. Your company should have a talent acquisition strategy in place to anticipate such needs. So this is the conclusion of my presentation. Now it's open for the audience for question answer session, and I just want to take 2 minutes on SME Analytics. I am the co-founder of SME Analytics. It's a private limited company. What we think, what we do. So this is the thing which motto is being what we think. Okay, it's a group of people, four founders. We are at SME Analytics are strongly advancing, advocating that by increasing the operational efficiency of existing MSME units by 5% year on year. And I mean, we can go on. what we think. Okay, you can share the PPT to all of you. It takes 3 years. I mean, it's time. It's already. I'm sorry, I've taken a little more time. I thought I'll spend more time on. It's a organization which has started. It's a baby steps we are taking now. So we want to just introduce our founder, Mr. Nilesh Desai sir. He will give the speech. He is the speaker for the next session. What you think and what you do. So it's next Saturday. So you can just subscribe to our this thing. So thank you for your time, and just taken 5 minutes more than my quota. So question answer session, please.
He's not audible.
Sudhakar sir,
He's not
Yeah.
audible.
are you able to see the questions? I mean, should I read it out for you?
Question is it? Just a minute. Can you read out? Can you read out?
Yeah,
When you-
Sudhakar sir, I'm reading out the questions for you.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So the first question is by Mr. Sarkar sir, Subramshu Sarkar. He's saying talent acquisition for startups, MSMEs
Yeah.
is very crucial for the growth of the organization. How does one
Yeah.
spot the right talent?
Yeah, see, actually, it is very simple that first you have to see what is the requirement of the organization, in the sense that whether it is in terms of turnover, or in terms of quality, or what exactly is the function, and what is the talent required. Because he said that how does one spot the right talent? Okay, so if the problem is spelled out, then the solution to the problem can be planned out.
So, okay, should I go to the next question, sir?
Yeah, please, please.
So next question is, today we face challenges of getting right talent. Secondly, if we
Yeah.
get right talent, then organization fail to nurture them and motivate them. It's a common problem, and because of this, attrition level is high. How do you curb this problem and hence retain employees for longer duration?
Let me see. Secondly, we get the talent, then nurture them, yeah, and motivate them. Yeah, that is true. It's a common problem, yes. So actually, uh, who is asked this question?
Sir, Pinaki sir.
Oh, Pinaki. Okay, okay. See, actually, we have to study the organization. Okay, what type of nurturing can be done, and then what is the way to go about, and that everything. So we can discuss. We will discuss. Next
Okay.
question.
Okay. So next question is from Subramshu Sarkar sir again. What
Okay.
can be non-monetary incentives to retain good talent? Is monetary prerequisites important to retain talent?
Yeah, non-monetary, no?
Yes, non-monetary incentives.
Yeah, that is very simple. We have to give him more responsibility, or we have to give more geographical area. You enrich his span of control. Span of control.
Okay. So next question is by Mr. Pinaki again.
Okay.
On one hand, there is hue and cry that there is unemployment in India, and on other hand, it's those same employers who lament that unemployment is increasing. They are also taking advantage of situations like COVID, for example, and exploit by not providing right environment for their employee. What can be done to change this situation?
Oh, see, unemployment is increasing, yes, because actually, to be frank with you, the quality is decreasing. The quality is decreasing, and uh, job ready should be there. The employee, the students, or the candidate should be job ready, and that is lacking in present situation, because there are so many engineering colleges, but quality is not there. It's not my reaction, it is the reaction of the industry. What it was earlier is not there now. Is only quality is not there, but quantity is there. So here also the unemployment is there because of this. That's what my feeling.
Okay, sir. So next question is by Mr. Vinay. If someone works hard, then also they don't get. So even if someone works hard, then also they don't get recognition, for which the
Okay.
employee feel dejected and leave. How can an employer change this situation?
Yeah, that's a good question. See, actually, employees' hard work alone is not be sufficient. It has to be the work should go in the right direction, and at the right time, at the right place. As you have the right person in the right place, in the right. So that thing is what is required. It's not just the hard work. Hard work is required. Yes, it is. There is no substitute for hard work. That is true, but. Definitely it has to be the right direction.
Okay. So next question by Mr. Subhangshu Sarkar sir again. Many employees look at automation or RPA as a threat. How can they be convinced about the win-win of tech development in the organization?
Skill development. What did you say? Come again.
So I'll repeat the question again. Many employees.
1 minute, Pinaki. Sudhakar,
Yeah.
am I audible?
Yeah.
Hi, Sudhakar. Thanks for the very
Yeah.
eloquent session we had. We learned
Yeah.
a lot of things from you really on the HR and the dynamics of talent acquisition and OD. So here my question was basically, see, a lot of
Yeah.
employees today look at
Yeah.
automation and RPA, robotics as a threat.
Automation and
RPA, that's robotic process
Okay.
automation. That
Okay.
as a threat,
Yeah.
because they think of losing their jobs. Now
Yeah.
the point is, it's
Yeah.
basically a win-win. The employees can be offered they can be removed from the regular job and have offered some top line or high level jobs. So you can use your employees more effectively. But the point is, how can they be convinced about the win-win of tech development in the organization?
Well, yeah, see, it's something like, you have been telling, I told that, when I used to sell computers, people, if I can use that word, in fact, they were telling that, nahi, humko computer nahi chahiye, hum haath se kar lete. So that type of thing was there in 80s. I'm talking about mid 80s, 80s, and that type of 1980s. So now, in fact, I'm in an industry where now I'm a consultant for Nandini Enterprises, which you know, and these type of MSME, SME, we are now promoting robotics, okay, and automation. So here it's a live example that like Singarini Collieries. I had a talk with them, the GM. Coal mining. They want to introduce robotics for lifting the coal and all. So, and it's an ongoing process of automation. You are not talking about CNC machines. Earlier, it was lathe machines, okay, and that type of thing. So, CNC machines are replacing by robotics now. So, it's an ongoing process, and skill development has to be done. There is no other option. There is no other option.
So should I go to the next question?
Yeah, please. Is it okay? Am I clear, Sarkar?
Yes, Sudhakar. So you mean to say that it's a continuous process of engagement
Exactly.
with the employees, which will make
Exactly.
them understand the importance of automation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you, Sudhakar.
Exactly. Yeah, Pinaki.
So I'll try to end up with the questions with two important questions by Shami Kapoor sir and Hanumantu sir. So Mr. Shami Kapoor is asking, how should I sell my talent of vision, ideas out of box, and ability to foresee future? That is first question, sir.
Yeah. See, foreseeing future, yes, that's what is there in the organization development. So you have to have a clear cut plan and mission and vision, so that what exactly is organization growth in the next 2 to 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, and it should be a part and parcel of the short-term plan and long-term plan. So this has to be taken as a challenge, and there are a lot of parameters which goes into to build the organization.
Okay, so next question is, how can I make company owners to understand and realize value and worth of these abilities?
Yeah, that's the company owners have, that's the challenge actually, in the sense that it's an ongoing process, as I told you, and you have to have quarterly reviews, monthly reviews, and close discussions with the employees. Then you will understand the capability and capacity of the employees, and then the other things will follow.
So next question is by Hanumantu sir. It is how to achieve higher productivity from worker.
Yeah, high productivity. Yeah, that is what is required for the top management to see that they are enriched and they are motivated in a proper way. So there are a lot of techniques and methods of doing this in terms of incentives, or in terms of there are so many parameters which go into giving it to the employee in terms of, as I told you, maybe conveyance, or productivity will increase when whatever the employee has in mind, hurdle, I should say, you have to remove the hurdle. The management has to try to remove the hurdle, so that his productivity will go up. If he has lot of hindrances, then definitely he will not be able to give high productivity.
Okay, so
Yeah.
The question what is Mr. Hanumantu is asking is about workers. We are talking about white collared. He is talking about blue collared. So can you say something specifically for blue collar?
Okay. No, it's very simple. Blue collar is, if I can understand, blue collar is something like on the shop floor, right?
Yes, yes. That is the question is asking.
So shop floor person, if the productivity has to go up, then what you have to do is, as you know, Desai sir, and say suppose a welder is there. So, like for example, the other day we were seeing a person who is doing the wiring. So we have to give a stool to him or her, or you have to, now like that welding, you have to give a screen and some sort of a chai for every 2 hours or 3 hours, or 2 times in a day. And the small things, it matters a lot. So these type of things, incentives or facilities or well-being facilities have to be provided.
But will it lead to the formation of union?
Formation of?
Union, labor union.
No. In fact, that is very wrong perception. We have to take the union into confidence. So that is where the HR role plays. So you have to take the union into confidence, and they will support us.
Sir, any further question? Pinaki?
Lastly, Hanumantu sir has asked, can we get source for revenue sharing based marketing for our YouTube channel?
Come again.
So I'll repeat the question. Can we
Yeah.
get source for revenue sharing based marketing for our YouTube channel?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Revenue sharing is possible. It's possible. We will get marketing people on revenue sharing. It's possible.
So, I mean, that was the last question, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, friends. I understand that a lot of learning has come to us, and we'll be able to understand, and we can contact Mr. Sudhakar in any future this thing. His number has been given in the slides. If you have not got it, you can ask me also anytime. I'll share. He's my co-founder. Also, my next webinar will be on next Saturday. The topic is think positive, think profit. We are finding out the linkage between positive thinking as well as how it affects the profit. So that will be explained in my next webinar. So please join in large number and circulate to your group so that the MSME fraternity gets maximum advantage. Also, I request you to subscribe for my YouTube channel, which has got about 30 or 40 different videos, which will be able to help you to grow your business. Thank you, everybody. Let us meet next Saturday, 4 o'clock. Thank you. Thank you, Sudhakar ji.
Thank you.